everybody, and welcome back to Comic Beyond. In this episode, we're going to be covering the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Usagi Yojimbo by IDW. With me today is my friend Anthony. Oddly enough, if he's cool, I'm going to give like our little history. We used to work together, and then I saw him shopping at our local comic book store, and I was like, hey, that's the guy I work with. And then we struck up a conversation, and here we are again, having another one of those conversations, talking about our love for turtles. So, like we were actually talking about before we were recording, I didn't reread the book, so we're going to get a lot of our story stuff from you.
Okay.
And then I'll just ask, fun little questions along the way, probably. But I do know, the turtles, they get summoned into Usagi's world?
Yes, they get summoned, because, apparently Usagi is needed to help transport a mystical object, and a sensei is needing a bodyguard, which is what the Yojimbo means, is a bodyguard. So that's why he has Usagi, and he summons them by Usagi picking up 4 turtles from a nearby creek, basically. And he does his summoning, which is a void, earth, fire, water, and wind in Japanese. But I think it's cool here when Usagi and the sensei is talking, usually it's in parentheses, but for here it's not. But when the turtles get here and they start talking, it is. So basically they are the guest here, so it's just showing that they're the ones that's speaking a different language than
Raphael. He's actually saying something I was thinking in my head. Dude looks like Splinter.
Yeah, he does. That's because they that's tying back to the original story from Mirage. When Raph first meets him, he says the exact same thing, he looks just like Splinter. I think they do that on purpose.
And then something else about the Mirage original crossover, didn't Leo and him, didn't they always kind of face off for the first time with their swords and
stuff?
The
very first time in Turtle Soup, which is the book that's in the little tie-in book in the back of the hardcovers that we have here, they put that in here, and that's kind of like pre Stan Sakai coming to Mirage. They did a tie-over because Laird, Eastman, and Sakai were good friends because their stuff started off at the same time. So he just did a short couple-page thing in Turtle Soup of them meeting for the first time, and they do face off there. The second time that they meet, which is when he actually comes over to Mirage, they don't spar off. They recognize one another. Usagi knows who Leonardo is, which is why here, let's see, where's it at? When they are in the cave, that he's he actually says, Leo, don't you recognize me? So here there would be, if it was the Mirage Ninja Turtles, there wouldn't be a need to be a fight, but because it's the IDW Turtles, they've never met, so it's completely different people.
I think it's cool when they do little story tidbits like that, especially for long-term fans.
Yeah, I agree.
Being able to cross it over like that.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It's really cool. I do like that at first they're both speaking their own language, and then after Leo and Usagi do their little sword fight to see that they're evenly matched, the sensei just starts talking and everyone understands what's going on. It's no longer a different languages. It's here, everyone's speaking the same, which kind of helps out. They don't need a translator.
And it looks like I always forget his name. Sakagi? Stan Sakagi?
Yeah, Sakai. Yeah.
His artwork seems to stay consistent from his original stuff.
It does.
It doesn't. Most artists kind of evolve over the years, but he seems to have kept the same kind of cartoony style.
Yeah, I agree. Even when you look at that original short in the back, Usagi looks pretty much the same. The only thing that's really changed
the turtles is
his Yeah, like some of it's the same, some of it's a little bit different, but it's pretty much like that's probably one thing that he's kind of grown in. Probably more comfortable would
I
be
do
a better
remember
word.
hearing an interview he did, and they were asking him about when he did his crossover and drawing the turtles for the first time. He said he was actually kind of nervous about doing the turtles.
I can see that
because to where Eastman and Laird's original turtles were very violent and very edgy and very.
Yeah.
If you look at their artwork, the turtles have scars and all this kind of stuff. He didn't know how he was going to approach it, so he just approached it as if he was they were already part of his world.
Yeah.
And if you notice, that's why if you look at his early turtle stuff, like in the back of our books, they just blend in with
they
Usagi's
really do.
world because he just went off of what his design he was already going with.
One thing I love about his main stuff is like at the beginning when it first starts off and it's just Usagi is there's a few people that are attacking him, and of course he's defending himself, and there's a few characters that die because it is a sword fight, so it is kind of violent. But anytime that he fights and that happens, there's like this little skull and a word balloon, which I find very awesome. That's a character trait that Usagi does is sets him apart different than other comics that I really like. But if you notice, when they do like their big brawl towards the end of the book, that kind of disappears. Like you can tell by facial reaction that someone has died. The only time that you really see it is when Jay, which is the character that's all in black here, he has like a death sword basically, and basically anytime it stabs you, it just sucks the soul right out of you, which is why there's like this 3-panel grid down here at the bottom of like the progression of it going from just normal to like the very end where there's just nothing left on 23 here, which I find cool. But anyways, back to what I was saying is when you get to like the big fight, you can see that other people have died, but there's no skull. And I think that's tying into the IDW stuff of the turtles not killing.
Right.
Because here you can see that Leonardo definitely stabbed someone. Someone definitely got Raph's thigh here, but they're not showing blood. They're not showing skulls because
everybody just seems to go cross-eyed.
Right. But if you look at like when they go cross-eyed compared to when Usagi kills someone at the beginning, they do the exact same thing. So it's consistent with Sakai or with Usagi's world, but you threw the turtles in who don't do that. So how can we show the turtles doing what Usagi's doing, but keep up with like how IDW has the turtles going right now? So you can take it that they killed someone, but maybe they didn't because Mike, I think it's Mike, says that all the baddies escaped basically. So the ones that were able to left. So it's saying that not everyone died, but there were a few that definitely did.
It's more about telling than showing.
Yeah, and that's one thing that's really consistent. Another thing that's consistent with Sakai's work is all throughout, like the Saga, the Dark Horse, Mirage, all of that stuff. The word balloon with the skull in it is like his trademark. One thing I like about it is that it's color.
Yeah.
Like I absolutely love the black and white stuff.
Now, what do you prefer, color turtles or black and white turtles?
I think it depends, like on who's doing it. Like if it's Eastman, I'm probably going to lean towards black and white. But I like color because it adds like that depth of you definitely know what's going on. Like there's some of the old Mirage stuff that's all black and white, and that's like you don't know if it's a fire that's blown up because in Return to New York, on the 3rd issue, they're in like this power plant, and Leo is fighting Worm Shredder, and at the top of the building, like this explosion happens, and you don't know if it's water from this giant container or if it's fire because it's black and white. Right. But if there's color to it, you have that distinction of what's going on, what's really happening. So I love black and white, but this color, like I really like Luth, his color work, and it's painted, so it's got a different texture than if it was inks or if it was digital, which is definitely different than what a lot of people do, like your mainstream stuff, because it's set for time. You can definitely see if they're painting this that they had time in advance.
And I love the variant cover that Stan did for this, or at least one of them. He did quite a few, but the watercolor one, because it looks very much like his old stuff, like from back in the day.
Yeah, I agree.
Because he uses a lot of watercolor in his books.
Yeah, and at one time you could actually buy this print off of his website, and just as a print. I like a lot of his variants, but I really love David Peterson's variant, simply because his mouse guard stuff. I really love mouse guard. That's another book that I recommend to just about anyone, because
he actually did really some of the micro series, didn't he, for IDW?
He did covers. He did all their covers for IDW, which is how I found out about him. That's how I know him. The RAF stuff, but his mouse guard stuff is solid. He's actually doing covers for 3 books. For Stan Sakai that's coming up this year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, one of the covers is already out. It's really cool.
Have you read the IDW Usagi stuff?
I own the first volume digitally, and I just read on Hoopla the second volume, and it's really good.
Because I was reading them, and then by probably issue 7, I started having trouble getting them. Yeah. For some reason, and then I just kind of fell off. But
it's definitely one of those under the radar books that you have to be on top of. You have to tell, like, your shop, like, hey, I really want this book to come, like, on a monthly basis. But
what I think is sad about Usagi is he's in the shadow of the turtles, unfortunately, and sometimes I feel like you don't get to him until you've gotten into turtles. Yeah. Because, I don't know about you, but, like, my first introduction to Usagi is from the old 80s cartoon.
Yeah, mine too.
And when I was a kid, and then I didn't ever see him again.
Yeah, that was
because I didn't read a lot of comics as a kid.
No.
And,
it was actually, Usagi predates the Turtles by a year. Yeah. And that's how they met. I think it was at a convention, and they lived close to each other, close enough that, like, Eastman and Laird knew his artwork. And they were fans. Oh, okay. And it was after meeting him, they were like, I think it was Laird that was like, do you want a figure? Just like, oh yeah, we're good enough friends. Would you like a figure? Like, your stuff's not even with ours, but we're cool enough that we can ask you if you would like one.
Because at that point, I think things were at their peak, and anything went, you know.
So. And that was definitely after Turtle Soup and possibly their first crossover, because that would definitely come about that time frame, I think. So yeah, no, it's definitely it's another book I recommend. Is definitely Usagi. It's award-winning. It's definitely different. If you're concerned about language, it's very. I think I've only seen one book that had one word in it, so it's very friendly. But I would definitely wait till, if you're doing it for your kids, wait till like 9, just because of there is death, and certain parents are kind of like
weary on it.
Kind of wait to do that, but yeah.
But and then really jumping on points too, you could pick up probably any version of it.
You really can.
Hop on. You don't really have to start at the beginning, which is good. Unlike Turtles ain't really like that in a way. You're either jumping on the original stuff, or you're jumping on IDW, or
and even then, like, you have to be careful when you jump in, because you can jump in on IDW, but like, you can't just, like, right now you wouldn't want to jump in.
Yeah, you'd be so lost right now.
You would be, because of Mutant Town.
With what they're doing with the Turtles, you wouldn't even know it was a turtle book.
No, you really wouldn't. But if you were to jump in, I would definitely suggest volumes or omnibuses, because that is the best gateway to get in. Or if you're wanting to do it like Comixology does their free for the first month, and then after that it's like $6 a month. And if you really wanted to like try it for a month and read all you could for a month for free, that or Hoopla has tons of turtle books, and all you have to have is a library card.
And I don't know if you saw my short or not, but I made like a 20-second short of like maybe 5 TMNT titles that you could probably pick up. And
I don't think I did. I'll have to see that.
But I know, like, I had the volume 1 of the original hardcover. You can check out IDW hardcover. The Batman TMNT crossover is a good jumping on point.
Which has an omnibus coming out.
Yeah, I saw that.
And it's going to be pretty sweet.
I might not get it just because I've already got the 3 volumes in hardcover.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, so I might not get it unless there's some extra cool stuff.
I don't. If they do anything, it'll be like.
Now, if Eastman does like an amazing cover, I might do it because I'm a sucker for Eastman. But...
I think it's going to be the guy that did the main art, that did the artwork for it. I'm sure Eastman will have like a variant in the back, like they normally do. But
now, do you have a favorite TMNT crossover?
Probably this. Like I didn't mind the Batman stuff. But the second volume was probably like I liked it better. Second, it would go 2 and then 3 for me. 1 was
really
1 is good because you kind of have to have it to understand what 2 and 3 is about. But overall, I think for me it was just I don't know.
God,
it wasn't as fulfilling.
When that volume 1 was announced, or at least the first one was announced.
I was so excited.
My goodness, I was like the kid in me came out because growing up, and you were probably the same. Growing up, it was Batman and the Turtles, and then long behind that was Power Rangers, and then they got a crossover. Yeah, so it's like DC about. Or somebody's like, hey, that dude down in Florida loves this stuff.
Yeah, no, it's
so, I love all 3 of the crossovers. Oddly, I'm the opposite because even if I didn't have the other 2 and I just had that one, I would cherish it. Batman shares a slice of pizza with the Turtles.
That's kind
Never thought I'd see it. Just in general, them sharing a panel together, never thought I'd see it.
No.
So,
and I hope that they do more. Like, I know they're not doing more crossovers with Batman. 3 was, like, the last one, but I do hope that they do more, just simply because, like, I feel like they could do a whole lot.
Well, I actually talked, oddly enough, to Freddie Williams on Twitter.
Oh, really?
I messaged him, and then he actually replied me.
I love his stuff.
And I was like, dude, he's talking to me. And I asked him, I'm like, so, because I don't know if he really remembered me or not, but I met him at a con. He sold my issue 1.
Yeah.
And then that's why I sent him the message. But he actually told me, because I was like, so where would you want to see the Turtles pop up next if they were in the DC universe? And dude, he kind of blew my mind because I didn't think about this. But the Teen Titans.
That would be cool.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles teamed up with the Teen Titans. To me, now I'm thinking about it, I'm like, they don't go anywhere else. Like, that makes so much sense.
That would be really good, especially if it's a Damian team. That would be really cool. Because
like it's and then seeing like Nightwing interact with like Raphael or Leonardo or something.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
Like I would love. DC needs to make it happen.
I agree.
He's gonna put the idea in my head, man. I'm like, let's go. They really
do, but I love Freddie's work. Like, I've never read anything of He-Man. Like, I used to watch the cartoon as a kid, but they did that He-Man.
I actually covered that on the channel.
Masters versus Thundercats crossover.
Dude, it's so dope.
I bought the first issue just to test it out because that's what general like comic book fans will tell you. Like, buy the first issue. Yeah. If you like it, continue. But if you don't worry about it. I read that whole first issue. I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna wait and buy the whole thing, just simply because I liked the artwork and the story so much. And I'm like, I don't know anything about these characters, but this is definitely a good book, and the artwork is so amazing.
His Skeletor is phenomenal. It looks like something that should be on like a heavy metal album.
Everything he does is really good. Like, he's got some solo stuff coming out now that I really want to check out.
He did some G.I. Joe covers.
Yeah.
The most recent thing, and I bought all the variant covers for it, he did the variant covers for the the Terminator Transformer crossover, which was an amazing crossover.
Yeah, yeah.
But he did the variants for that, and they're pretty cool. I don't know if you read that, but I recommend that if you can find it.
I haven't, but it's on Hoopla, so I've been meaning to check it out.
That's another of my two favorite things, crossing over. So it's been a good year for crossovers for me.
It has been a very good year for crossovers.
Because
I don't know if you know this, but you can buy his prints off his website, and he'll sign it, like autograph it. But he also sells like his artwork on his website, and he does commissions. Like certain times throughout the year, he'll open up his website for commissions, and they're a pretty good price for commissions. His is really good.
Yeah, and then what was the other one? Oh, the Ghostbusters.
I read the second volume. I did not read the first volume. I'm interested in Ghostbusters story. I don't really care for the arc.
Yeah.
Or the artwork for them. I think to me it's just not my taste.
I'm back and forth about the artwork for the Ghostbusters, but I actually did like the designs for the Turtles.
Yeah, I agree. Like some of those covers were crazy. Like there's one that's got Mike with a what the pack is that the
Proton pack.
Yeah, the Proton pack. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's got that on, and that's a sweet looking cover. And the second volume I thought was pretty good. Just some of it was good. Some of the artwork's not my favorite, but it was definitely a pretty good arc.
Yeah, so Turtles have had some pretty good crossovers.
Oh yeah.
And then most of them I've covered on the channel, and just because me and Turtles, man, I gotta find something with Turtles. So, but I think we're gonna wrap it up.
Okay.
Because I think we've talked the book to death, and then some.
And then some.
Yeah.
But yeah, whenever you are ready to jump into IDW, it's an extensive run. I think we should probably do Secret History maybe first to kind of. I know it kind of picks up. Halfway, like where it picks up is kind of weird, but it does give a really good background to where Shredder and Splinter come from, their background, how we got to where we are, kind of. But whenever you're ready.
I'm pretty much caught up now, up to where the current stuff is. The way I've been reading it, and I kind of spend some money, but once a year or twice a year, they put out the Ultimate Edition hardcovers.
Yeah, those are sweet.
And since it's only once a year, I always buy that. I have the Coliseum order it.
Especially if,
And then the cool thing is everything in there is in reading order.
Yeah, that's
so
what
if there's a tie-in, then you're reading the ongoing stuff, and then you read the tie-in, then you go back to so when they print the books, you just open that book up and you read it as is.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So there's some benefit to reading it that way. So
if I was gonna suggest anyone that's wanting to get into it and they want a complete story, I would definitely suggest that book, but the first one, because it does sell in order. That's tie-ins. That is everything how it should go. Just pretty much how my filing cabinet has it done is in order. Because there's a Technodrome forums on there. They have a spot that has it how it's supposed to be done, and that's pretty much what I follow by is how they have it set. But that's a good reference of another if you want a resource, that's a good one to go to.
So if you've been following Comic Beyond and its crossovers, just remember there's going to be more turtle stuff coming. I'll talk to you later.